Well, hello. Today, our learning goal is I can find the mean of a set of numbers, then use it to find the absolute deviation. This is called the mean absolute deviation. And essentially, it is the average distance that all your data points are away from the mean. Okay, and I know that that's a lot to understand, so we call it the mean of the mean. And we use a little acronym to help us remember the steps. We also, in 8th grade, will refer to this as MAD. Okay, mean absolute deviation. MAD is MAD. Our steps we use this little saying to help you remember them. Always drink soda at dinner. And essentially what you're going to do, it says find the mean of all values. So we are going to add our values or our data, okay, and then divide the total by the number of data points that you have. Okay, so that's how you find the mean. It is also known as the average. So if you notice, we've done add, which is always, and we've done D for drink, we've divided, so that's drink. So that's the first two steps. Then we find the distance of each value from the mean, that mean. In other words, we subtract from each value, okay? We subtract, we need to ignore the minus or negative signs. And I'll show you how this all works. Okay, so what we do is we find our mean, and then we take each data point and we subtract from that. Then we find the mean of those distances. So that is where A add, D divide, S subtract, A add, D divide. And that's why we use this little acronym, always drink soda at dinner. So here we go. I'm going to show you how to do this. Okay? First thing, find the mean absolute deviation of the following data points. So we have these data points. We're going to do add. So I'm going to add 7 plus 15. Please be doing this with me. Plus 22 plus 30 plus 65. And we find that that equals 139. Now you should be very familiar with how to find the mean or the average of a set of data points. We then divide, that's the D for drink, by how many 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 data points we have. One thing I did not do. We refer add SAD, and I would suggest that you write that down as you're working this, because what's going to happen is as you do add, which I just did, you cross it off. Then when you do divide, you cross it off, because this answer to this right here is going to be as an answer choice. If they give you 4 multiple choice answers, that is going to be there. So I'm going to take 139 divided by 5. Remember, this is the mean of the data, and it's 27.8. 27.8. Okay? All right. So next, it says find the distance of each value from that mean. Okay? So that is our S, or our subtract. So I'm going to write my mean, and I am fine if you just write it once. So 27.8, and I have to subtract each point from the average. So subtract 7, I'm going to write subtract 15, I'm going to write subtract 22, I'm going to write subtract 30, and the last one is subtract 65. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 5 and 5. So I'm going to do my S and subtract each one. Now, 27.8 subtract 7 gets me 20.8. Okay? Next, 27.8 subtract 15, and I get 12.8. 27.8 subtract 22, and I get 5.8. 27.8 subtract 30. Now, you notice I have a negative sign, but I said you have to ignore those negative signs and just concentrate on the number. So I'm going to write 2.2. Okay? 27.8 subtract 65. There again, ignore the negative sign and just write your 37.2. Okay, so now I've done my S, which is subtract. Always drink soda at dinner. I'm going to be asking you to say that so that you memorize it. Add sad. Okay, now it says A, which is my at, so I'm going to add these because I'm going to find the mean of these numbers, the average of these numbers. So I have 20.8 plus 12.8 plus 5.8 plus 2.2 plus 37.2. Enter, and I get my total is 78.8. Okay. Now, how many numbers did I just add together? It should equal the same number that you divided by. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, so I'm going to divide by 5. Divided by, I guess, now I just did something. I hit the divide by sign. Do you see how it says A and S? That means it took the last answer I had. You can do it that way. Or you could have done 78.8 divided by 5, and I get the same number, 15.76. 15.76. Okay? And that is my, so I added and I divided, and that's my mean absolute deviation. The reason it's very important for you to write this and to mark it off as you go, I promise you, see this answer right here, the mean? It's going to be an answer choice. And they do that as a distractor to try and get you to stop in the middle of what you're doing and go ahead and choose that answer. Most of the time, that's an answer choice. Okay? And then they will give you the correct answer choice, and then usually there's something that's obscure. All right? So make sure you do all 5 steps. If you write add SAT every time, you should be fine. You should be just fine. It's really simple if you'll write add SAT. So the mean, which is the average, and the mean absolute deviation is the average distance. It tells us on how far, on average, all values are from the middle, or the mean. In that example, the values on average are 15.76 away from the middle. Okay? So that is how you do mean absolute deviation. You will never, ever be asked on a question in 8th grade to find the mean. So if they're asking you to find the mean, or the average distance from the mean, they're meaning the mean absolute deviation. Okay? Always drink soda at dinner. Have a great day.